Good evening. Well, it's good evening where I am. Welcome back to another Watchlist update journey with premium Blu-rays, otherwise known as David. And once again, we are traveling all over the world, and we are also be going to visit a film festival for the first time for me. This year, because of COVID, the Glasgow Film Festival was available online to stream, and I took full advantage of that and I struck gold. So I'm looking forward to talking about the films that I saw at the GFF. But this week I've seen, I think, about 8 films, films from Hong Kong, China, South Korea, France, the UK, the good old US of A, and Poland. Yeah, that's it. I remembered that. So yeah, let's just get straight off the bat with my first selection for this evening. So as you know, those of you that follow this channel closely, all 3 of you, or maybe 4, you will know that I'm on a wuxia kind of odyssey, I call it, when I'm going to try and watch one wuxia film per week. My film last week, or last time I'd done this video, was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Didn't like it. Really annoying, because I really thought that would be my introduction to, to raw. I've seen it before, but to watch it again and experience it again, but no, it just did not resonate with me. So I thought I'd go to an absolute classic, and I would say a bona fide, masterpiece of wuxia, A Touch of Zen from 1970. I must admit, I was expecting it to be a little bit kind of dated, a bit silly, bit far too much use of trampolines and sort of silly fighting scenes. I mean, I just thought 1970 is not really going to be, it's not going to be my thing. But you know what? From the get-go, I was absolutely blown away by the photography, let alone anything else. The photography was stunning, just so beautiful. Shards of light in forests, and use of shadows and use of colour. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And I also got pretty engaged very quickly with the characters in the film. The story is kind of about a young guy, or youngish guy, who still lives with his mum and makes a living by doing paintings. And he meets a strange, mysterious woman who comes into the village, and basically, I won't give too much away, but he studies war strategy in his spare time, and it has put to very good use in this movie. And I mean, the movie's quite charming. It has got some kind of like the sideways glances, a lot of that, and there's a great bit where the lead actress flicks her hair back and then starts to fight again. Superb. So in that way, it was a bit kind of, but I was going to say dated, but I'd say charming actually. The fight scenes are actually really good, very balletic, very poetic. And I just thought that, it was a film that had a lot going for it. There was comedic elements as well, but good story, beautiful colour palette and photography, good performances actually. And the only thing I let it down towards the end, it got a bit surreal towards the end. I didn't quite understand it, but definitely a film to rewatch. Definitely a great introduction to wuxia, and not a masterpiece for me personally, but definitely an easy four-star film, and one that I would recommend if you haven't seen it. I watched it streaming on Mubi, so it's available to watch if you are a Mubi subscriber. So yeah, go check it out. So then I headed off to Glasgow, to watch my first film from the Glasgow Film Festival. A film I've been waiting to watch for a long time. A film from the USA, actually, or made in the USA, I believe. But a film about a Korean family who come over to live in the States to try and make a better life for themselves. A film called Manari from 2020. Lots and lots of hype. Lots of people have said this film is just stunning. I would say the film is beautiful. The film is definitely charming and a really great film. It didn't completely blow me away. It's kind of a little movie really about family dynamics and the dreams of a man who wants to make his life better, but kind of overstretches himself a little bit. It did remind me a lot of Jean de Florette, which is the first subtitled film that I saw, which is very, very close to my heart. A masterpiece in my humble opinion. The performances throughout were great, for sure. And I think it warrants your attention. I think it's a film that maybe on the second watch I'll like even more. It's not a film I would probably purchase, but I'm glad that I managed to watch it so early via the Glasgow Film Festival. So, but I think I'm struggling to find more to say than that, because it was just one of those films that was charming, was sweet, was very beautiful, was very poignant. I've kind of seen that before, but at the same time, it was still worth my attention. Then, as you know, my algorithm has one of them is a film that I should have seen that I haven't seen yet, that I really should have watched. So I chose a film from 2018, not too old, a Polish film called Cold War, filmed in black and white in monochrome. So I was looking forward to this. I would say that it's a great female lead performance. I would say beautiful black and white photography, but for me, there it ends. Nothing else to say about this film. It did not grab my attention at all. Okay, back to Glasgow Film Festival. Film from the US of A, 2020, starring Aubrey Plaza, who I really enjoyed in Ingrid Goes West. A film called Black Bear, a film that I've been thinking about a lot since I watched it. Definitely my film of the week. Definitely the best film I've seen probably this year. Oh no, Ham and Rye. Sorry, apart from Ham and Rye. And this film is made out of two very important elements that I love about film. The first element is the narrative, just basically tips you upside down, swings you around a bit, and leaves you on the floor thinking, what's going on? And even now, I need to rewatch it because I'm not quite sure about quite what was going on in the film. A film of two halves. Not going to spoil it for you, of course. I would just say you go into the movie and after about 25 minutes, you don't know whether it's a drama, a comedy, a horror, a thriller, what it is. You just don't really know what you're letting yourself in for. What is very apparent from the get-go, though, is that Aubrey Plaza is mesmerising in this film, and I'm surprised I haven't discovered her before, because I've only really seen her in Ingrid Goes West, and she was, great in that, but I'm sure she's been in other films I need to check out. I'm also sure she's still young, got a great career ahead of her, but she made this film for me. That was a second element, by the way, the lead performance. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. It's a great idea to go in completely blind with this film, because it's a real kind of potent mix of unsettling drama, black comedy. The storytelling, like I say, makes you dizzy with the narrative. And it's just one of those films that I think anyone who loves cinema will love this film, because it's a little bit like when I first saw Reservoir Dogs, and the way that the narrative was done by Tarantino. It's just something new and original and fresh, and this felt like this for me with Black Bear. Yeah, absolutely loved it. British film now, from 2019 on Netflix, Calm with Horses. One of those films that I kind of had it on my radar. The YouTuber Into the Blue mentioned it. I think one of his recommended it to me, and I kind of looked at it and I thought, I don't know, it looks all right, but it's going to be another British gangster film. But not quite, no. I mean, it is got the kind of the crime. It's a crime thriller, but it's also a heavy drama as well. And at its core is the story, or the essence of the film is about the relationship between the father and his very autistic son. and how he relates to him, and the fact that he's a criminal obviously makes it even more difficult. But it's still a touching relationship, and you can see he wants to do good by his son, even though he's going about the wrong way. But you know, it's one of those films that's got a lot going for it. You know, great performances, great action set pieces, including a great car chase. It's a very violent film, so it might not be for everyone, but it is one of those movies also. It's got really lovely photography, really great soundtrack. So why not? Why would you not like this film? It's a kind of a 3-star, 4-star movie for me. Definitely one to check out if you like crime thrillers, and you also like, you know, with a dramatic element to it as well. Okay, we're back off to Glasgow again, but watching a film from La France, a film called Jumbo, starring Naomi Milan, who was in Portrait of a Lady on Fire. And this is a film about a young girl who falls in love with a fairground attraction. As in falls in love with the inanimate object of the fairground attraction. So straight away you're going to think this is a weird, crazy, strange film. It kind of is. You know, there are some weird elements to it, if you want to call it weird. But basically, this is a film about isolation, alienation, acceptance. It's a mother-daughter relationship film as well. What's very interesting as well is that, and I probably will be the only person to say this, but to me, it reminded me a lot of Spielberg's early work, Close Encounters, E.T., with the way the special effects are used and the way it's photographed. It also reminded me of the film Her, with Joaquin Phoenix, and it also reminded me, one of the scenes reminded me of the Under Skin. So there's a few elements of movies, I think, that I thought were influenced by it, but maybe not. But having said that, it is wholly original, you know, to make a film about a subject matter like that. And, you know, you have to understand that this is not a movie that is kind of weird as in freaky and, you know, it's going to be something that's going to really, you know, unsettle you particularly, because it's genuinely a really beautifully made film and a charming film, and it is about, you know, a young girl who has got relationship issues or has got mental health issues, but ultimately she is not accepted in the world because of this. And I guess a lot of people can relate to that, so they will enjoy this movie. I found it to be a really joyful film and a really sorrowful film, both together. I absolutely loved it. You know, it was fantastic to look at. Some of the scenes were and the use of colour and lighting, you know, with the fairground attraction was absolutely stunning. And the performance, lead performance, was great, as were all the performances. This film definitely deserves an audience, that's for sure. So I know it's at the doing its festival run, but hopefully we'll get a good release in the UK very soon. Actually, I forgot to mention that a lot of the films I've seen this week are first-time directorial debuts by female directors. Jumbo was directed by Zoe Wittock, which again is a first-time film, I believe. And my next one, from China, made in 2019, called Spring Tide, was directed by Yang Lina. And this film blew me away, to be honest. The first 30 minutes it didn't. The first 30 minutes I kind of thought, here we go, another an hour and a half of art house, depressing, mildly diverting slice of Chinese life. I've seen a few films like that, not many, but I wasn't expecting much. And then suddenly I realised that it was a bit of a setup, because it kind of sprung into action. Now, whether that was just me, I don't know, but it did. The film I was suddenly transfixed, the rest of the film, and by the end of it, I was completely broken. There's a scene in this movie, a monologue by the lead actress that just can't even begin to explain how amazing it was or is. And yeah, it was performance as a flawless by the whole cast. Even the child in the film was fantastic. It is a story of a woman who lives with her mother and her daughter, and I won't go into why, but let's just say the relationship between the mother and daughter is very, very toxic. And I'm not going to tell you how it ends up, but all I will say is that it's a tough and a hard film to watch in that respect. But so it's very raw. There's not a lot of sentimentality and, you know, strings and atmospheric music particularly. But I found that I connected to the main protagonist very easily, being a 55-year-old English guy. You know, to connect to a 30-something-year-old Chinese woman is not easy. But the director managed it, and more power to her for that. I hope it gets a release in the UK. I doubt it will anytime soon. I'm just so thankful that I managed to watch it. Shout out to my good friend Dion Wynn for recommending it to me and kind of making sure that I was aware of it. So it was just genuinely wonderful and warm movie. So my final film, also showing at the Glasgow Film Festival, is a film called Our Midnight from 2020. Yeah, another woman director, a debut film, I believe. Lim Jung Yuen, I think you pronounce that. I couldn't even find her actually on Google when I was looking up how to pronounce her name. So this is a little known film. And again, another recommendation from Dion Wynn, but you know, he never lets me down. And yeah, this one, once again, I absolutely loved it. It's slow and it's black and white, and it feels a little bit like a bit of a Hang Song-soo kind of feel to it. But it was surprisingly engaging very quickly. Lots of great drama and superb performances. And the story of a young struggling actor who gets a part-time job patrolling a suicide bridge, like a suicide watch for checking, in itself is quite interesting. And he meets a young girl on the bridge, and they walk through the twinkly lights of Seoul, and they have great conversations, and he bears his soul to her. And I just really felt that there was this, the director's got something to say about the human condition, and there were some fantastic monologues and some great advice or ideas or thoughts on the human condition contained therein. And it was a really beautiful piece of cinema. The black and white photography, monochrome photography at night time at Seoul looked gorgeous. Reminds me a little bit of Woody Allen's movie Manhattan. And I just felt really privileged to be able to watch this film so early in the UK. And I have no idea whether we'll get a physical release with English subtitles. We'll see. And it also had 2 or 3 really cool technical touches, which I won't tell you what, but just suddenly you see something and you think, well, where did that come from? Is this actually happening? Is this a dream? Is this surreal? What's going on? And all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot going on in this film, and all the better for it, because it's high rewatch value. So yeah, I mean, big thanks to the Glasgow Film Festival, I guess, for allowing me to watch these amazing films this week. And it's a great way to support cinema, isn't it? I would normally be at a cinema, probably at my local Curzon, supporting cinema, and then obviously you should pay for your creative arts. The same goes with music. If you've got any artists that you love, buy their merchandise, buy their CDs, buy their vinyl. And if you have the opportunity to stream any movies on a film festival, I would recommend. That's a good way of supporting cinema, don't you think? So yeah, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. I should be touching 100 subs soon, which is very exciting for an old man like me. So looking forward to that, getting that milestone. And any comments below on the films that I've watched. If you've seen them, let me know. Any recommendations, let me know. And stay safe, guys. Keep well and just keep watching movies.